The green and digital transformation raises complex challenges for Austria as an industrial location. The transition to a CO2-neutral material production and the digitization of established production routes requires substantial research.
Current research is based on a trial and error approach, but this is typically very time and resource intensive. With the help of novel methods for combining simulation, experiment, and artificial intelligence, the development times and efforts can be reduced significantly.
These novel approaches are currently developed at the Material Center Leoben together with national and international scientific partners in a joint strategic project.
At MCL, we develop and integrate these novel approaches for magnetic steels and perovskite materials in an exemplary manner. Magnetic steels contain alloying elements only in low concentrations, which facilitates recycling. Magnetic steels possess outstanding material properties due to their specific microstructure. As a result, magnetic steels are tough but ductile at the same time. Thus, magnetic steels can be used for a wide variety of applications with high structural material requirements. With the help of artificial intelligence, we accelerate the optimization of these steels. To do so, we use a so-called active learning loop. This approach enables a much faster, more targeted, and more resource-efficient development of new materials. The base idea of this approach is an iterative process where artificial intelligence proposes suggestions for new materials. These suggestions are then tested with experiments in the lab which yield new data. The data is then learned by the AI, which is then able to produce a new generation of improved suggestions. This process vastly accelerates the search for the optimal material. Before the active learning loop can be initiated, a few preliminary steps are necessary. These are researching the available literature on the subject, as well as gathering expert knowledge. This information is then compiled in a database and existing modelling methods are implemented. When the database and models are ready, the active learning loop can be started. During the first step of this active learning loop, AI-based models learn which mathematical relations can be found in the existing data. Next, thousands of parameter combinations are run through with the help of these models as part of a virtual experiment. Each parameter combination yields a result. Then, Bayesian optimization is used to suggest the most promising new alloys. These are then evaluated by experts who choose further materials that will be assessed in experiments in the lab. The selected new alloy compositions are then sent to our partners at Montan-Universität Leoben, who produce the next generation of materials in their lab. The synthesis and experimental analysis of the magnetic steel includes multiple experimental methods. Material synthesis. Casting new alloys is not easy, as the composition can change during the process. During the industrial process of strip or wire steel, tons of molten iron are cast at once. In the laboratory, we only deal with half a kilogram. After casting, the sample has to cool down before it can be processed further. Now it is checked whether the planned composition corresponds to the actual alloy. During the dilatometry analysis, the boundary conditions for magnetic steel formation are checked. The properties we aim for can only be reached with defined time-temperature treatments. Within the dilometry measurement, we can check whether the suggested process parameters are viable. Magnetic steels are composite materials consisting of a tough and ductile phase. The amount and size distribution, as well as the specific orientation of these phases, determine the final properties. With the help of microstructure characterization using electron microscopy, we can analyze the actual internal structure. By designing new alloys, we aim to delay the point where irreversible damage of the material takes place. We measure this point with two parameters. Firstly, at which strain do we have an irreversible deformation of the sample? And secondly, at which elongation does a local reduction of the cross-section appear? All measured data is integrated in the materials platform that is developed in parallel. Here, data can be stored, shared, and analysed. Now, the loop starts from the beginning. The AI model learns from this new data and suggests new materials. These are again synthesized and eventually characterized.
We hope that within 1 year we will find magnetic steels with 50% improved properties compared to the existing ones. But that's not all. The next material, perovskites, for more efficient energy conversion is already in the starting blocks.
For the practical implementation of these workflows, MCL is developing AlpMat, an active learning platform for accelerated material design.